Well, hi, everybody. Today I'm with Rebecca Gorman, and she's a mental health therapist here in Fort Worth, Texas. So, welcome, Rebecca.
Hi, Molly. I'm really happy to be here.
Thanks. I'm so glad to have you. So, tell me, what's one thing you would love for the world to know?
I'd love the world to know that you are freely and fully loved just as
Mm,
you are, right
mm.
where you are. You don't have to
Ooh,
do anything to earn this love, just open yourself
wow.
to receiving it.
Ooh, oh, that feels so good. Wow. So, tell me, Rebecca, how did you discover this?
Well, for me, for a lot of my life, I didn't know what being loved felt like. To be
Mm,
clear, it's not that people didn't love me,
yeah.
but I'd never really learned how to experience it, feel it, and let it in.
Mm,
I
mm.
think love and connection feel dangerous and threatening for a lot of us.
Yes.
Many of us have experiences that impact our abilities to let love in, but most of
Mm.
us are encouraged to kind of bury these experiences and the unpleasant emotions they produce rather than feel them, and work through them.
Yeah.
So I had glimpses, but it was really in therapy that I learned how to
Mm,
be consistently, fully, authentically loved. Um,
mm.
I learned what it felt like to be on the receiving end of what we therapists like to call unconditional positive regard.
Yes.
And, no matter what therapy approach people receive, I believe this unconditional love, unconditional positive regard, which doesn't exclude saying hard truths, but in fact makes them absolutely necessary. I believe
Wow.
that's the foundation of real therapy and real life transformation.
Yes. You're helping me to, as you're talking, I'm thinking love, truth and love, and kind of putting them together in my mind. Wow. Um, that's so great. And what a beautiful experience. I know sometimes I work with kids too, where the love, like it dysregulates their nervous system, and you have perfectly loving parents and they're they're struggling because it's like this is somehow this happiness or joy is also dysregulating like other emotions. How interesting. When it's little kids, I tend to think it's sometimes just a temperament or wiring, so it could be a combination of things like experiences or temperament. Wow.
So true. My
um,
therapist actually used to tell me, I thought this phrase, it's so interesting. It rang true deep in my core, but I couldn't quite figure out why. It just made sense. But she said, love feels like punishment to a lot of
whoa.
people when you're not used to it,
Okay.
like healthy love.
Yeah. Yes. Ooh, especially if you add the truth part in.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, oh, how interesting. So beautiful. I'm so curious. What's the first step that someone would take?
Well, I would say, I would personally say pray. I can't imagine, like, when I was embarking on this journey for the first time, I prayed for guidance. And
Mm.
I then I would say, as you're looking for, I would say find a therapist, but maybe find a therapist who makes you feel uncomfortable, but in a good way. Like, I feel uncomfortable, but I know deep down that I need what this person has. Like, you'll know it in your gut. I don't care what approach
Mm.
they use, what
Yeah.
modality, seriously, but in their presence, I think the ideal would be for you to feel kind of like you're under a magnifying glass, exposed and yet also safe. And
Yes.
you're ready for the stuff that no longer works for you to be brought to the surface, and then you're ready to let go of it in the right
Mm.
timing, in, I believe, God's timing. And so you may feel
Mm.
uncomfortable, but also safe with this person,
Hmm.
because I believe they are partnering with you,
Hmm.
um, in bringing out who you really are.
I get it. I think it's so true. I'm thinking of therapists I've had in the past. Like some I did, some I felt totally comfortable with, not challenged at all. And I remember that feeling that I was sort of like running the session in a way, and not, yeah. And or you don't want to feel too challenged, like overwhelmed, like, oh, I can't get this right. Oh, that's really nice. It's like just the right amount of challenge, or discomfort. I like how you said that. Um, yeah, and letting go into sort of a divine timing, because
Yes.
sometimes we try to, yeah, I think there's work, 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 and then there's also just surrendering. So I think kind of, yeah, I can't forget that piece. That's like, whew, yeah, neat. And framing that with our field where we do unconditional positive regard. I think that's a very representative of that love that you're talking about that's freely given. So cool. And so as someone is moving towards this, what's an obstacle that people face?
So, a common obstacle is that we seek out what's familiar, whether we're
Yeah.
conscious of doing it or not.
Wow. Mm.
For example, if I had been in control of my therapy journey, I might have picked someone who looked really good, seemed like they had it all together, and gave a lot of great advice. And in fact, there were times where when I got frustrated because I felt like my therapist, wasn't helping me enough. And really, they weren't doing the work for me that only I could do. And then there were also
Mm.
moments where my perfectionism and control, like you said, I love that you're talking about like kind of surrendering to the journey and the process.
Mm.
I wanted the process to go at my pace. I was in pain and I wanted to be better, and I
Mm.
want you to fix me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
paying you to fix me. And there were times I'm grateful that she was grounded enough in herself
Mm.
that she was like, this is your work, not
Mm.
mine. And everyone heals at their own pace. And I had to wrestle and like learn to find that peace with the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because otherwise, like if I would have, if for example, she would have like given in to the temptation to just fix me and give me a lot of advice, that would have fed right into my perfectionism, my people pleasing,
Yes.
my working on myself that really had a root of
Yes.
shame,
Yeah. Yeah.
not into what I needed, which was to really live in all my imperfect glory, to show up in life
Mm.
unashamed, authentic, and fully me, and to learn how to accept and love all parts of myself and bring them into light and love. So I needed something and someone unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and a little bit scary, but yet I
Yeah.
really needed what they had.
Yeah. Ooh. Yes, that's right. Because I'm just thinking, I'm just opposing in my brain like shame versus that love that's freely given that you're talking about, and we're not going to be out of shame because we're never going to be. It's not like we're going to work out our way out of it. We're never going to be so good that we are not that we don't deserve shame or something. But that the love. So yeah, I love that with the obstacle, like that it might feel unfamiliar. It
Yes.
might feel uncomfortable. The things that you want might be on that side. Yeah. And whatever vision you might have. So how do I know if I'm doing it right?
You are no, you know you're doing it right when you let go of the need to be doing it right.
Mm. Good. That's a good
You
one.
know, you again surrendering to that process, it feels like being under the microscope in the refiner's fire. Again,
Mm.
there's that safety, there's that love, and in fact, in order, the truth can be so painful and so scary that you're right, like love is the only conduit that truth can really be conveyed in a way to
Wow.
get to the deepest parts of ourselves. And so um, yeah, when you're doing it right, you'll feel parts of you coming back online. You might have new
Mm.
sensations in your body that you haven't had in a long time, but maybe you're connecting with emotions. Like for me, I sometimes had physical sensations like a melting honey core in the heart of me, and it
Mm.
um, and I almost literally felt like, oh, this is like a physical sensation of what being loved feels like. And then sometimes I literally felt tingling in my brain, like I actually felt, you know,
Wow.
connections forming in my brain, and then like
Mm. Mm.
flashbacks from traumatic memories would come up, but instead of being re-traumatized, I would feel my brain reorganizing them and allowing
Mm.
love to seep
Mm.
into them so that there was healing. And so by letting go of my need to do it right, which is all
Okay.
focused on me, my work, my control,
Yes.
I was able to allow myself to be fully alive, and receiving love is the key to being fully alive. Most of us are so
Mm.
closed off to love and receiving, and we don't even realize it.
Oh, wow. A couple of things come to mind, like when, I work with parents and children, and when we go to correct a child, if the parent has sort of disconnected from themselves, the child gets dysregulated. And it's not like as parents we're connected to ourselves 24/7. It's just something to work towards. Like if I can, I think I say as myself as a parent or to parents I work with, if 50% of the time you're making that reconnection to yourself and you're correcting from a grounded place, like you were talking about with your therapist, being grounded, it just is going to bring that truth really in to be more able to be present in that correction that you need to make. And I think also another quick thing, and I'm so I just love what you're bringing in, that the love is there. It's freely given. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to be somebody. And I think that's very divine love. And I think sometimes with parents, I'm just working with a family where they really, one of the children is gifted in certain areas and lacking in others, just like all of us. But they really tell him like, you're really gifted in these areas. But I think it's like, it's not that he's extraordinary or better than anybody, because we're all wonderfully and fearfully made. And it doesn't, because just because we're not special and better doesn't mean we're not absolutely loved. And I think that's such an interesting thing when you grow up being told that you're great and you're better than everybody else. That can be really, even though it comes from a place of love, but it's, maybe a different kind of love. And oh gosh, you were saying something else, but yeah, I think it's so important to bring into therapy that the parts of like work and surrender, work and rest, that we don't really rest or slow down.
So
Wow. Well, so actually, yeah, that's our time. So thank you so much, Rebecca. Just a sweet little tidbit. Thank you so much. I'm going to put all your contact info in the description, and lots of beautiful things to think about here. So thank you.
thanks, Molly. I really enjoyed this
Yeah.
time with you.
Thanks. Me too.
All right. Talk to you later.